From its very beginning, the church at Corinth had experienced an amazing amount of supernatural grace, which had manifested itself in various ways. In fact, Paul even told them, so that you come behind in no spiritual gift. That was implying that the Corinthians had a great measure of spiritual gifts operating in their church. And the phrase come behind is a translation of the Greek word which means to be behind or to fall short or to be inferior. And so this verse could be translated, you fall behind no one else in respect to spiritual gifts. In modern language, it could read, when it comes to the gifts of the Spirit, you're second to none. The Corinthian believers were aware of their unique status, and they allowed it to go to their heads. Essentially, they developed a superiority complex and a snobbish attitude concerning their spirituality as concerning other churches. And that's why in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7, Paul responds with a sharp rebuke. He says, for who maketh thee to differ from another? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? Now, if thou didst receive it, why dost thou glory, as if thou hadst not received it? When Paul wrote, why dost thou glory, he was referring to those who are boasting themselves and putting others down who didn't share their same spiritual experiences. In Greek, this word glory means to boast of yourself, to uplift yourself, to imply that you're better than others, or to speak so highly of yourself that you derogatorily imply others are less than you. It can simply be translated to vaunt, as it conveys a pride that says, I'm better than you. In fact, it's the very word that Paul used in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4, when he says charity, that is agape love, that divine love. Charity vaunteth not itself. In other words, people who are motivated by love do not go around boasting about themselves in a way that leaves others feeling inferior. It's important to note that the problem in the church at Corinth did not stem from their gifts of the Spirit. The gifts of the Spirit don't foster pride. The problem was the character of the Corinthian believers, which needed to be dealt with by God. They needed to humble themselves before Him. Paul's rebuke to the Corinthian believers tells us that we have no right to gloat about spiritual experiences. When you and I have been blessed by God with an extraordinary spiritual experience or knowledge of spiritual matters that exceeds that of many others, we should strive to demonstrate humility. We must not carry ourselves with an air of superiority, thinking that we're better than others because they haven't had our experiences or haven't attained to our level of knowledge. We must remember that everything we have, we've received from God. We did nothing on our own, and so we really have no reason to gloat about it as though we did. If we really receive something special from God, we need to show only humble gratitude for His gift. Well, I trust that this little bit from the Scriptures this morning has been a blessing to you and that you'll have a wonderful week. And remember, if you're in Cayman Brac here, we'd love to have you join us for our time of worship, either at the Watering Place Church of God Holiness or the Spot Bay Church of God Holiness. I can assure you that you'll enjoy the time of worship, the singing, the praising God, the praying, the study of God's Word. And I guarantee that as you leave, you will sense that God has spoken and that you've been blessed by hearing His Word once again. Well, that's all for now, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. God bless you richly.